What a
Iconic.
What a tune. You know my favorite line from that song?
What's that?
Wrestle with Jimmy. Somebody's cold one is giving me chills.
It's kind of sad, actually.
It is, but it's the most beautiful way to say I'm still dealing with the trauma of my father being an alcoholic.
But like on the radio single.
Weezer had a lot of dark,
no doubt.
Yeah. Allentown, is that the name of the song?
Oh, I don't know.
Or what's the one about the coal mines in Allentown?
I believe you.
Yeah, it's called We're going surfing, you take your car to work, I'll take my board. Dude, they're the best, bro. That's why whenever people do the Weezer or Foo Fighters thing, I know that a lot of people go Foo Fighters hands down.
Which I would, yes.
I go, I don't know.
It's close for you. Huh.
Dude, go listen to Maladroit or Make Believe. They're still pumping out great poppy radio hit. I would argue some of the current Weezer songs, maybe not current, but of the past 5, 6 years, 7 years, are as good as anything on Blue or Green or whatever.
Wow.
I don't know. That's just me. And they look like a bunch of dads.
We should go see them.
I know. It'd be cool. They don't play one of these things,
No.
but maybe they should.
I was just listening to that song earlier, so
yeah, and it kind of the tone works. Try play it again. Like
Yeah,
it's a nice. This is a really good combo here.
kind of grungy.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not at all their rig.
Definitely don't play a Falcon.
But that's okay.
Yeah, on loan to us.
On loan?
But a great guitar, yes.
From who?
Jared. He's got all the nice stuff. But
Suze, this is my beautiful 1958 Fender Bandmaster. Look at all these photos of it. It's like a little Bandmaster fashion show going on.
Showing off.
And it's got some issues. And by issues, I mean, it looks like someone had it in their basement when it flooded. See a little damage on the bottom there. And then, but man, it's aged in the most beautiful way. I thought for a while it was a 57.
Oh.
But turns out, did a little digging, it's a 58. You know?
This whole time.
The whole time.
You didn't even know.
It reminds me of Sue's Summer Love back when I was, 11, 12. And spent a week on the beach and met this little girl and her family too. And we built sandcastles. We played in the water, you know, we flew the stunt kites. It was a magical week on the beach.
Time, yeah.
Just summer love, you know? Even a young HW had his first kiss under the pier.
Oh gosh.
You know?
Romantic.
And then on the very last day, I said, "Bye, Susie." And she said, "Susie's my sister. My name's Lilybeth."
The whole time.
But in the end, you know,
Yeah.
the love was the same.
And the tones were just as good.
And the tones were just as good. So 57, 58, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Susie, Lilybeth, who cares?
Right.
The point is, Suze, this thing was awesome. I did this a while back.
Yeah.
And now I'm really happy we got to do it on all the platforms. Quad Cortex, ToneX.
Yeah.
And it sounds great kind of on everyone.
Sure. Yeah.
Weird kind of thing here. 310s. Look at that. I mean, they didn't bring this back. But 310, why? What were they thinking? I don't know. 210s wasn't enough. 410s, too much.
Definitely abnormal.
Yeah,
right?
we got the Bandmaster for 410s, but 310s. And they never really did this again. I think after these years... No, there's a 310 brown panel. The Bandmaster, I think, is 310. I can't remember. But anyway, 310s, they never really do it again. And it sounds great. These speakers are very much a part of the tone. And I'll be doing like a new IR pack for these because I've been working on some stuff.
That's cool.
But the tone of this thing, if I could sum it up, channel 1 is we did it on Kemper, QC, ToneX. All the settings are the same. The numbers don't quite line up perfectly for where they were set. So Kemper has a couple that are like squeaky, squeaky clean, and then they go up from there. Other devices just start kind of where I would like it to be clean.
Gotcha.
But basically, channel 1, brighter, that's the instrument channel, and it's like the sound you were playing in the beginning. And then same amount of gain, channel 2, 2.3, is the microphone channel. They used to have like microphone, you plug in a microphone, you sing into it. Those became the normal channel. Like you could put something in, it didn't have the bright cap from the guitar.
Yeah.
And that's going to be like fuller, more mid-rangey, kind of bigger sounding. Okay, so play this tone a little bit, and you tell me the first thing you hear when you play a sound like this. All right, describe that tone. How's it hit you?
I would say, I said grungy before, a little grungy. Kind of, there's some crunch going on.
Yeah.
A little splatty.
To me, it's a little like, what sticks out to me is the growl. There's a lot of like low end punch. You know what I mean? Like dig in the do 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 on the low end there. Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
To me, that's the tweed thing. So I was really kind of selective here on the Kemper. You get some choice of microphones and stuff, but with this whole amp, I felt like the Fathead with the 57 was really kind of the way to go.
Okay.
And I went off axis a bit with the 57. You kind of get like a rolled off top end because these things can be so bright. It's still got that Fender quality of like bright, clean, like beautiful, bright, clean in a way that it kind of reminds me of the later black panel, the later brown panel stuff. Right. But then like the tweed quality, the more you roll it up, that's when you get like the difference between, all the different Fenders, the black panel, the brown panel, the tweed. And that's where it gets like grumbly and kind of, especially on the mic channel, it gets that like grindy kind of, whatever. I think they kind of got it right. Like, this is the best Bandmaster. You take an amp like the Deluxe, what's your favorite Deluxe?
Maybe that 65?
Yeah. I'd agree. Overall, 65 Deluxe reverb.
Yeah.
But the 5E3, the Little Tweed Deluxe is great.
Oh, yeah.
Great amp. Did they make it better? Did they make it worse? It's very different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have, you've got, in your office, you've got the 67 too, with the drip edge, different speaker. That one's great also.
Totally.
Not a ton different than the black panel one. The brown panel deluxe is famous. Sometimes people call them like little Marshalls. You know, it's kind of like a halfway between those two amps.
Yeah.
And I've profiled one before, but I really want to get a clean vintage one, a really nice one. Some amps got better. Some amps changed a lot. The Bassman changed a lot. 410 combo to a head with like a 215 cab. This thing, kind of the secret in Nashville is like a lot of people know that if you want a tweed amp, you could. There's different ones you could get. You know, there's a little Harvard, there's the deluxe, there's the everything. But a lot of guys will say this is the secret one. This is the tonefullest, if that's a term. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's sensitive, man. Give us a little like clean going to the breakup thing. Can the Gretsch do it? I think it can.
I think so too.
To me, you pair that with something maybe a little more scooped, or maybe you go all the way. You know what I mean? It just depends on how you want to dial it in. You could do the stereo thing on both sides, but you could just kind of rock out with that. Throw some drives in front. Here, I'm going to put a drive on. Yeah, man. You know
Rock
what I mean?
and roll. Yeah.
It's rock and roll. In a word, character. You know, some things I think are like neutral, flat.
Totally. Yeah.
I don't.
Has a voice.
It has a voice, a super voice.
Yeah, you mentioned like some of the other amps, like the Fender sound in my head is not that.
Right.
But then I really have enjoyed playing, like I played that Tweed Deluxe the other day, just like straight in with a pedal board. It was like, oh man, that's such a great Fender sound, but it isn't like the clean kind of scooped
It's not
in
a
my
twin
head.
or a super or even a Blackface Deluxe.
Yeah, but
you
then
know?
you rattled off like, you know, a bunch of artists that are known for using that amp, and it's
The
like,
Tweed.
and it's like, oh, okay, that's the sound of Neil Young, and like all these things. So it's like,
Yeah.
of course, you know, you've heard it recorded a lot. But
Yeah, and you know what's funny about this amp? This amp is not really closely associated with any act. I've never really. I'm unaware of anyone who's ever said like, "Oh, the Bandmaster, the Tweed Bandmaster is my sound."
Yeah.
It's always Deluxe or Bassman.
Huh.
You know, John Frusciante used a Bassman.
Okay.
Stevie Ray Vaughan used a Bassman. It's kind of it was an early bass amp, big bass amp, and this was sort of when they made the 59 Bassman. The idea was we'll play bass through this amp. The precision bass will go through this thing, and this was like the guitar version of that amp. Smaller transformer, 310s, grinds up a little more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I'm sure someone will let us know in the comments if there was
there's been
an artist or something.
There's been some people, and like I said, it's kind of a thing around town that people know. The Tweed
Like a
the Tweed
sleeper,
Bandmasters are what you want.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure it's been on a bunch of records, but you know, Hotel California is the sound of a Tweed Deluxe. Like if you want to know what a Tweed Deluxe sounds like, just go listen to that. That like mid-rangey kind of thing, focus kind of sound. This one a lot more open. I think the size gives it that a little bit of the low end of a Bassman, but not quite as much depth there. It's still a little more focused, I think, because of the smaller transformer. And all in all, it's a sound that I think is it's one I really enjoy. I've several times thought about selling this amp. I can't do it.
Well, these came about because we were in here just playing, and we plugged into this amp, you know, with all the pedals and everything.
Yeah.
And it was like we were all just like kind of blown away. Like, that sounds incredible.
Yeah,
you
I know.
So like that's a cool reason to profile it again when you're actually playing it.
And right after I profiled it last time, I had some work done on it. They retubed it and they replaced a couple things. And the effect, if you've ever had older amps worked on that are really old and mostly original, they get dirtier and darker. That's always what happens.
Oh, okay.
You might think somehow they might lose gain or something.
Yeah.
That would happen if a tube's failing or something's lowering the signal. But overall, I don't know what it is. Maybe when caps are in the process of blowing up, it seems to be the high end that goes first. And it loses strength. It's like fidelity is what gets lost as it all ages and starts to fail.
Yeah.
And when you look at old capacitors, you could measure them and see what they're putting through. They're in the process of dying. And so they might, you have ones that are sitting at 85%, 87%, 81, and you go, leave them. Like they've got life left.
Right.
But when you start getting lower, it really starts compromising how the circuit's running. So in general, you get an old amp worked on you've had and you love forever. People sometimes go, I took the mojo away. It probably made it a lot more like the original, like how it was.
Yeah.
Stronger, sometimes maybe punchier. Maybe that's a function of the tubes, like what's the squishy?
Sag?
Yeah, the sag, but the squishy tube, the rectifier.
Oh, it's a
and so, if you replace that, you'll notice a difference. But if you do just some work, cleaner, louder is usually the thing that people say.
Gotcha.
And for good or bad. So I think it's a little punchier, cleaner, louder than the last time I did it.
Okay.
I think these profiles and all the captures hasn't existed on ToneX and on Quad Cortex. I'm aware that this amp exists anywhere on ToneX, on ToneNet. I don't know that anyone's done a Tweed Bandmaster.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. At Quad Cortex 2, I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
And for Kemper, though, these ones will be, I think, a little less spiky in the high end. I'll tell you something, a secret. These are the most difficult to mic. Same thing, not just this amp, but a Bassman also. The 10-inch Alnico Jensen speakers are so finicky. It's like somehow it's less surface area because it's a 10, and so the mic movements seem to do a lot more.
Exaggerated.
Yeah, and it's really difficult to get it right. And it's one of the few amps, this is like really nerdy now, I like the combo holders for mics. Like it'll hold a 121 and it'll hold a 57 or a 545, and it'll put it right near each other and in phase, right? So you've got like you've got the ribbon this way and you've got the capsule and the dynamic this way, and it puts them in phase. It puts them really close to each other. And so that's good. You get them right there and you get very little cancellation and you get it right kind of in as close to the same spot as possible. I've never found that they work with these smaller 10-inch speakers. It's like, because the distance is smaller because it's a 10 and already they're very finicky. Like, I feel like you go up to the speaker and you get all that spikiness of the high end that you don't get when the amp's in the room. So it's the only amp I've really ever, and not just this, but the Bassman too is like this. I've been kind of unhappy leaving the mics together. Yeah, you have to like separate them, so much so that I end up having to go to both sides of the cone. I have to go one on this one and get it right, and then the other one go off axis this way, and on the other side and give it clearance. You go to a different speaker too. That could work, but really phenomenal amp and killer tones, and everything's out for all those platforms. We'll do a Helix one, and we'll get as close as possible with the models that are available in there. And yeah,
I love these, man. They're really cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I think if you're a worship guy, you try pairing this with different.
Yeah.
If you're doing double ToneX, stereo Kemper.
Yeah.
You throw this on one side, throw something on the other. It could be a Vox, or you could go the other way and do something even more scooped, and go with channel 2 here and get more of your roundness out of this. Shelve the high end a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However people use this stuff.
That's cool.
I think it fits, and I don't know, man. I just love that it's not a Vox. It's not a Marshall.
Yeah, totally. It's its own sound.
It's a Fender, but it doesn't feel like a...
Yeah, man.
I
dig it.
All right, Suze. Play us out, bro.
I will.
This bottle of Stevens awakens ancient demons.
So you know the
like
lyrics.
father, stepfather. Dude, it's a really traumatic song.
It stuck with you all these years.